Before we dive into the meat of this video, I just wanted to say, Nikita Kucherov is a human being, therefore anybody who is suffering in these circumstances, we wish for the best recoveries too. We don't want to see this guy out. However, it is just kind of funny. Okay, not funny that a guy looks to be injured in a very bad way, but circumstantially, this isn't something that we haven't seen before. The other day against the Washington Capitals, we had ourselves a play where Nikita Kucherov was going forward into the forecheck. Eventually, it's Garnet Hathaway who has the puck for Washington, who kind of chips it off the boards and tries to lunge by Kucherov. He ends up just kind of grazing Kucherov on the back and tapping his skate a little bit, and Kucherov tries to do a quick and sudden left turn to follow the puck during that play. He then gets back up after recovering, and you can see him very visibly in pain. He starts grabbing what looks to be his groin area, and then he leaves the ice. Cooper said 2 days ago, "Do not hit the panic button." This is a video you can go ahead and find on Twitter. I'll leave a link in the description to Joe Smith's Twitter account over there. But the update from Erik Erlendsson, who is a Tampa Bay Lightning insider, is this. I'm hearing the initial word on Nikita Kucherov is not positive, and surgery could be involved. Assuming that's accurate, I would expect him to miss some time moving forward. We should know more later today. Now, I get it, it's a kind of premature video to make, just giving the update here that Nikita Kucherov, one of the NHL's stars, could be missing an extended amount of NHL time this season. But this is kind of what I mean. Writers, hockey gods, come on, guys. You're using the same plots over and over again. He wrote the stuff in a movie, it would be deemed unrealistic. I'll give you one guess as to what the replies have been, what the social media response has been to this news right here. And I'll tell you what, the response is kind of the same everywhere. I get that some hockey forums and other social media platforms are seen in a different way compared to others, but guess what the main response is on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit? Yeah, it's deja vu. We've seen this before, haven't we? Now again, before we dive a little bit deeper into it, I'll bring up this tweet right here from Andrew Weiss. Everyone will make LTIR jokes if Kucherov is out, but people forget he is one of the best players in the NHL, had major hip surgery, missed an entire regular season in his prime, and could miss even more time. If he is hurt, the sport is worse off. He is human, and this stuff sucks. With that out of the way, dude, the Tampa Bay Lightning are going to get Jack Eichel, aren't they? They're going to make all these trades to get some big names. If Kucherov is going to be out for an extended amount of time, then this opens the window for Tampa Bay to do that three-peat. Oh my goodness, I was not taking anything seriously when I thought that Tampa would three-peat. I was thinking last year, okay, it's going to be Tampa Bay. Even without Kucherov, the Lightning are going to be good enough to make the playoffs, and then Kucherov's going to come back, and along with all the other extra stuff they acquired at the trade deadline because LTIR money, etc., they're going to go out there, they're going to do 2 in a row. The second year was one that I predicted at the beginning of the season. This year, I was like, yeah, Tampa's not going to repeat. They're not going to do that again. Are you kidding me? They lost out on all their guys. This is a weaker team than they had before. And now it's like, okay, Kucherov is out. They can use that money to acquire, with Jack Eichel or something. Assuming Kucherov is out for an extended amount of time, which we definitely do not want to see. Firstly, because Kucherov is a good player. And secondly, because you don't want to see anybody out for that long. I just googled up on the Google machine, though, how long does a groin injury take to heal from kidshealth.org, which I don't really know if this applies because it's kidshealth.org. Nikita Kucherov certainly is not a child. It says that with proper rest and treatment, most groin strains heal on their own in about 4 to 8 weeks, and more severe groin strains can take a longer amount of time. So, worst case scenario for teenagers right here, 8 weeks. Nikita Kucherov certainly is not a teenager. In fact, he's far from it, 28 years old right here, turning 29 in June. So, what? Does that mean that this kind of thing would take longer to heal? Is it not that bad because his body is more mature than a teenager's body? It takes him less than 4 to 8 weeks to heal? I mean, to be fair, you did see him hobble off in pain and he left the game in a lot of discomfort, so I think if you want to take a look at how a 28-year-old's body is a lot more mature and a lot stronger and all that, it's most likely going to be a lot more damaging to have an injury that is that bad to the point where he looks so in pain and he has to leave the game, right? Maybe it's longer than 8 weeks, maybe it's a little bit more than that, but still. The Tampa Bay Lightning losing out on Nikita Kucherov definitely would be a huge, huge blow. We joke around about how this team can get Eichel and all that stuff because Kucherov may be going on LTIR, but at the end of the day, this is a lot more different than last season. Nikita Kucherov missed the entire 2020-2021 campaign, which also was a shortened season, you do have to remember. And the Tampa Bay Lightning back then were already deep enough to make the playoffs without a Nikita Kucherov and make the playoffs with the additions they had that aren't really like super offensively talented like David Savard and all that. They made the playoffs, they did their thing, Kucherov came back and it was all swell. This season though, you gotta remember, that entire third line in Tampa is gone. You don't have Yanni Gordon anymore, you don't have Tyler Johnson anymore. This Lightning team is a lot more depleted today than they were heading into the 2020-2021 season. And John Cooper said it right when they won the Stanley Cup, hey, we knew in the locker room that we did not know the security of this team going forward. We didn't know if we would even be together next year. So we wanted to win it again and cement our legacy, yada yada yada, the same cliche stuff that coaches say to give credit to their players. This team's a lot weaker than it was last year. Not to mention the divisions are back to normal now. This Atlantic division is pretty tough, isn't it? So if Nikita Kucherov does indeed go out for any amount of time that is prior to the trade deadline, then I mean, the Tampa Bay Lightning are kind of screwed in that respect, but of course, they're still a good enough team, I feel like, to end up making the playoffs and doing their thing, because you still have Braden Point, you still have Hedman, you still have Stamkos, you still have Vasilevsky, who's been terrible so far to kick off the year. I guess he'll bounce back as the games go on, right? It's Andrei Vasilevsky. Give him some time, he'll go out there and he'll be okay. Hopefully, I guess. But Nikita Kucherov going on the LTIR would definitely be a big, big blow. It's just kind of funny how this is the same story, rinse and repeat. Hockey gods just copy and pasting their old scripts from a year ago as to how things are going to go down this season. Talk to me in the comments, though. If Nikita Kucherov does indeed go on the LTIR for an extended amount of time, what do you think happens? Do you think the Lightning are able to be as good as they are without Nikita Kucherov? He is one of the best players in the National Hockey League, and that should not be disputed anymore. He had 120-something points a few years ago. There's a reason why everybody goes after this guy in games now, because, I mean, it's Nikita Kucherov. He's very talented. So, the NHL is indeed worse off when Kucherov is out. However, the amount of time he'll be out is a different question. We'll probably get an update sometime later today. If the update is like, okay, 3-4 weeks or whatever, then I guess this video is made for naught. But, you know, that's not the first time a video on this channel would be made for no real purpose at all. So, for now, let's just talk about Kucherov and the way things are going down. What do you think is happening with the Lightning if Kucherov is out for an extended amount of time? Do they win games? Do they lose games? How well are they able to do without this guy, without Yanni Gord, without Tyler Johnson, without everybody else that they lost out on in the offseason? Because that indeed is certainly playing into this as well. But talk to me in the comments. What do you think about Kucherov and this injury? I hope you enjoyed this video. 99. And bye.